Of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. Wow. Day 22 for 30 days. So we're getting down toward the wire, toward the goal. Well, this is where we're doing 5-minute exercises, one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. And if this is your first time joining me, I want to welcome you and welcome to everyone that's here, both live and also those that decide to watch the recording. Hi, my name is Pia McAdams, and I am an accounting professor. I'm also a certified coach, and I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. I help people reach goals in those areas. And so what we're doing is for the mind portion of the challenge, we're reading a book, and it's the Psycho-Cybernetics by the great Dr. Maxwell Maltz. For the body portion, we're doing 5 minutes of the yoga sun salutation. And then for the for the soul portion of it, we're doing a 5-minute meditation where we're focusing on our breath. So again, welcome and thank you for joining me. So we're getting down to the wire in this book, the Psycho-Cybernetics. And again, if this is your first time joining me, if you just kind of happen to stumble on it or if someone shared this information, by the way, guys, share this information. Like this is like a revelation for me. There's been so many aha moments. Share this with your friends and your family. Remember, sharing is caring. But if this is your first time joining me, it's okay because as I mentioned in the last post, it's the accumulation of steps, right? Like in other words, let's say that you have a goal to lose weight. And so if you just consciously think in your mind, let's say the goal is 50 pounds. If you're just constantly just thinking of that number 50, well, that's going to make it harder. But if you just think in terms of, well, first of all, you should have been thinking, but that's another story. But I'm just saying the concept here. If you think in terms of just small baby steps. So in other words, just little nuggets, little seeds. I mentioned yesterday that we are, you reap and you sow. Well, I didn't mention it here on this forum. If you're following me in social media, on my Instagram account, I did some lives yesterday, and it was all about relaxation, which comes from this book in chapter 6 and what we just finished reading. But I mentioned that, there's reaping and there's sowing. And so right now, by doing this 15 minutes of transformation, you are actually sowing the seeds. Okay, so you're implanting the seeds, and then you're going to reap the benefits. But guess what? You don't sow and reap within the same season. So I don't want you to think like, oh, I'm just dropping in. It's on day 22, so I'm too late. No, it's not too late at all. Anytime, all time is a time to sow. You're not going to know when you're going to reap because only God knows that and the universe knows that. But you do sow anytime that you're alive and breathing. You should be sowing. Good morning, Nisi. Good to see you on. All right. So again, in chapter 6, what we're learning first, let me kind of catch those up. This is Psycho-Cybernetics, and this is about our internal guidance system. And this is, I like the analogy I used yesterday about a computer and the operating system. Okay, so our brain is like a computer, and me personally, or we the person, is the operator, right? And so what you do as the operator is you program your goals into the computer. Now think about this, Think about how you work on a computer. When you program it in the computer, then do you go and tell the computer how to do it? Like, do you run the software? No, you don't. You just program your goals into the computer, and then the operating system, or whatever software you're using, takes control in the background and then makes it manifest, right? Well, the same thing. The difference is if you're not reaching your goal, perhaps you're using an outdated operating system. Okay, namely your self-image. So for example, let's say that you have a self-image where you're just this unhappy person and nothing good ever comes to you because you're just an unlucky person. And so then all of a sudden you have, goals, because there's always going to be sparks of positive moments, right? You're not going to be down all of the time, but for the most part, you consider yourself an unlucky person. Well, now you're working with people, with a coach, and you have all these goals that you're setting, and you're going along toward your goals. But then all of a sudden, it's hard for you to reach those goals. Like you really don't, like there's things you're supposed to do, you just don't feel like doing them, and you just don't do them. Well, perhaps because internally your self-image is you are an unlucky person, so you don't think good things are going to happen to you, or that luck is going to be bestowed upon you. So even though consciously you're trying to work towards something positive, subconsciously you're working against that, and that's more powerful than what your conscious effort is. And that's where we are in this book, because in chapter 6, let me see, what was the title of it? Remember, something like relax and let your success mechanisms work for you. It's about just relaxing. So remember, go back to my analogy of the computer, right? As the programmer, as the operator, all you do is you type in your goals. So you just go ahead and set out your goals of what it is that you want to accomplish, and then let go, like relax. Don't just, strive for and try to consciously make it happen, because although you feel like you're doing something, just let go and relax. Let the universe handle it. Now, does that mean that you can't just do anything? Like you just sit back and go sleep? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying by let go is like, don't have it consciously on your brain all the time. Like, oh, I have to do this, or I have to do this, or I have to do this. And then you feel like a failure when you don't do it. Trust the operating system. Trust the computer. Trust your brain. Trust the universe that once you set out a goal for yourself, that it's going to manifest. Now, obviously, if you're going to be impatient and say, oh, it didn't happen, you're going to give up, that's your conscious working. But subconsciously, if you have that program correctly, then it will manifest. Now, a more important thing, in my opinion, to be working on is, figuring out how you can, translate or kind of reprogram that subconscious level so that it will actually manifest for you. So that's what this book is giving us. It's giving us tools on how to program your subconscious. And so what are the tools that we talked about? We talked about imagination. We talked about mental imaging, the mental pictures. We talked about rational thinking, like literally saying to yourself, now, is that really rational? Just because I was unlucky, like really 5 main times in my life, I mean, is that really is that really rational to conclude that I'm an unlucky person? I mean, there was just 5 major events, but look at my life. I'm 36 years old, or I'm 10 years or 25 years old, or I'm 50 years old. In all of my life, really 5 instances is going to define me as being unlucky. Like, is that rational? That would be an example of rational thinking. And then also acting as if, like act as if you are a lucky person. So those are the things that you can be doing as opposed to like trying to, force it to happen. So anyway, I know I'm going to go over to that. But this, again, 15 minutes, but hey, this is some good stuff. So I realized yesterday when I was reading that portion about, letting go, that I never really told how this challenge came about. I did a separate video to explain why I chose the book. I did a separate video to show you and walk you through the sun salutations. I also did a separate video to show you about the Ujjayi breath that we use during meditation. But I never revealed how how I came up with the idea of this challenge. And it was directly related to what we were talking about yesterday in relaxation. So let me just explain what happened. I was doing some studying, and during my studies, I came across the mention of this book, Psycho-Cybernetics. Now, at this point, this was the second time I've heard about this book. Now, normally, if I hear something 3 times, I act upon it, but I've grown up now. I've gotten better. So this was the second time I heard about, so I immediately went to Amazon and ordered the book. So now I get the book 2 days later. I'm a Prime member. So I get the book, and I'm reading in the book, and literally I'm probably in chapter 1. Like, it wasn't that far in the book. And I kept having these aha moments like, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. Because remember, if you saw the video on what this book and how I was attracted to this book, is because as my years as a coach and as my years of helping people, I would have people that would reach their goals. Some of them would be happy and some of them wouldn't be. And some of them would struggle, and it didn't seem, because it's logical to me, particularly if you want to lose weight. I mean, there's logical things that you can do, but then you have people that do it, but then they're still not happy. It's like, wait, you said you wanted to lose 100 pounds, and now look at you. You look great. You're a totally different person, but they're not happy. And so I was trying to figure out what was going on. Well, when I was reading this book, all these aha moments, because it talked about the self-image and how that really works against you. I was like, oh my God, this is some good stuff. I got to share this. Now, mind you, I was just reading this book for myself, but I was having all these aha moments. I was like, because it was aha because it was explaining to me about me and my life, but it was also explaining to me how the mind was working. And the mind is not just, special to me. It's everyone's mind. This is how everyone's mind works. And so I was literally like relaxing, reading the book, because I usually relax and read the book. And then all of a sudden in my mind, like literally a conversation, like this is funny, a conversation just kind of took over in my mind, literally, because the idea came and said, because I said, oh, I got to share this. I just said, why don't you do a challenge? Like literally, this is inspired thought, like seriously. So now at this point, now you got to kind of understand, I know how my brain works, right? Because I'm like you too. Like I have all these, negative thoughts and fears that come up in my mind, but I've learned to like kind of sit back and just kind of let the thoughts go and then kind of interject when I need to. So the ideas come in and the inspired thoughts come in, do a challenge. And then my mind's like, okay, that's cool because I do challenges. If you follow me on social media, you know I've done challenges. I've done butt challenges, ab challenges, weight loss challenges, eat clean challenges, sleeping challenges. I've done challenges. But then the thought was like, no, it can't just be like any other challenge because all those other challenges in the past only focus on one area. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I was on the body or on nutrition or on sleeping or whatever. It said, no, this challenge, by this time I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit back and then you guys just tell me once everything's done where I need to show up and what I need to do. Literally, this is my mind. Like, if you think I'm crazy, I probably am because at this point, it's questionable. But anyway, this is what was happening in my mind. And so then, all the details will come into play. No, it needs to have aspects of both the mind, all three of the mind, body, and the soul. And then, of course, questions are coming up. Okay, so what can I do for the mind? It's only 5 minutes. Oh, you can read a book. And of course, the fears are coming in. Oh, I got to read. But again, I'm kind of stepping back. Okay, just keep going on. And then for the body, what I'm going to do? Okay, but you can do this yoga sun salutation. Oh, that's a good idea. And then what about meditation? Oh, you can do what about the soul? You could do meditation. Oh, that's perfect. So again, all the details are being discussed in my mind. Like literally, I don't have multiple personalities. I could, but this is what's going on in my mind. Okay, so anyway, so as this is going on, finally all the details come together and I said, okay, so now tell me what I need to do. And the ideas come up about this challenge as you know what it is if you've been joining me for the 22 days. So then I was like, okay, so when do I show up? And it's like 6 o'clock. Oh, at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's early. Like for me, that's early too. I'm usually up early, but I'm in my bed doing stuff and then I can go back to sleep. And like, yes, it has to be a time that you can do. There's going to be no interruptions, no cell phone. No one's going to be calling you, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, okay, I can do it. And literally I had to like step outside because I, again, like you, have all these fears that come up. I mean, you think, oh, wait, you're a coach. Wait, you're a professor. This should be easy. No, I have the same fears. So, but what I learned is to let go, relax, let the inspired thought come and not overpower, well, it kind of does, overpower me or just kind of take control. And then I just go with the flow. Like I literally did not give my chance any time for the fears to really take seeds. Remember about planting seeds? I didn't give them a time to take root in the ground. I literally the next day started the challenge. Now, what I mean literally, if you would know, I started officially 2 days later, but that next day after all this thought came in, I actually got up at 6 and I actually filmed it to see, to go through like a trial run period. So I didn't give my chance, my conscious and a chance to bring those fears to my, forefront, my forebrain so that I would like, oh no, I can't do this. So I got to prepare. Well, what am I going to wear? How my hair is going to look, or it's in the morning. I didn't give all those time to take root. I just literally got up. That's the doing portion I'm referring to. So it's not like you just sit back and be like, oh, I'm going to relax. And Pia said relax, so therefore everything's going to happen. It doesn't work like that. There are going to be actions that you take, but it's going to be the smart actions. It's not going to be those conscious actions where you can actually work against yourself, particularly if you're not ready. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so I've probably talked about 15-20 minutes here. So let me see what I can do on this one. Actually, the section I was going to read is not too much. I mean, it says don't be too careful. So let me go ahead and read this for your edification, and then we'll move on to the remaining portion of the challenge so I don't go over too far. But hopefully this has been helpful for you because, again, just relax and stop overstressing. More so work on your self-image. And remember, when I'm saying work on your self-image, obviously that is a conscious thing that you're doing, but it's actually pre-programming or reprogramming your subconscious level. Okay, so underneath chapter 6, we're underneath the title that says, don't be too careful. Now, let me go back to the sentence ahead of time because it goes on. It says, it is the job of the forebrain to pose problems and to identify them, but by its very nature, it was never engineered to solve problems. Yet, that is precisely what modern man tries to do, solve all of his problems by conscious thought. It looks like I've already read this. Yep, I did already read this. All right, because I'm supposed to be going over to this part right here. Let's go to, I did bookmark it. Okay, the part I was going to read is kind of long, so I'm going to go by Victory by Surrender. Okay, so later in his famous lectures, the collection of the varieties of the religious experience, James cited example after examples of persons who tried unsuccessfully for years to rid themselves of anxieties, worries, inferiorities, guilt feelings by making conscious efforts, only to find that success finally came when they gave up the struggle consciously and stopped trying to solve their problems by conscious thoughts. Under these circumstances, said James, the way to success, as vouched by the innumerable authentic personal narrations, is by surrender, passivity, not activity, relaxation, not intentness, should be now the rule. Give up the feeling of responsibility, let go of your hold, resign the care of your destiny to higher powers, be generally indifferent as to what becomes of it. It is but giving your private convulsive self a rest, and finding a greater self is there. The results, slow or sudden, or great or small, of the combined optimism and expectancy, the regenerative phenomena which ensue the abandonment of effort, remain firm facts of human nature. So again, let go and relax. Stop stressing. And think about it. If you had two choices, A being to stress and being not stressed, which one would you choose? Okay, so hopefully that was helpful for you this morning. I will move on to the body portion. We're going to do some yoga sun salutations. And guys, remember, this is not a challenge where I'm trying to just transform me. Obviously, I'm transforming myself in the process, but this is your transformation as well, which means it's going to be more beneficial instead of you watching it, if you're actually performing with me. Okay, so don't just sit back and watch me do the yoga sun salutations. Join me. And remember the underlying rule: surround yourself around positive people. Like my friend Nisi, that my BFS is always on. Hi Nisi, good to see you. She always talks about give good tips on how to reinvent yourself, and she says to surround yourself by positive people, and that may mean you need to revamp your circle of friends. But if that's what you have to do, you're important enough to do it. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the yoga portion, and again, immediately following, we're going to do some meditation. So I invite you to practice with me. brings us to the final exercise. We're going to be doing some meditation. So again, if you do have your shoes on, take your shoes off. Make sure your foot is grounded, your feet are grounded to the floor. Make sure that you're in a nice comfortable position, and you want to use your ujjayi breath, which means we're going to inhale, and as you inhale, your abdomen chest is going to expand out, and as you exhale, they're going to fall back to its original position as diaphragm moves up and down the cavity. Now, as the thoughts gently come into your mind, just gently push them aside and focus on your breath. We're going to be inhaling for a count of 1 and exhaling for a count of 2. Release, relax, and return refreshed and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. That concludes day 22 of the Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. I'll see you the same time tomorrow. Bye.